Hi YouTube, Mochismo Eugene, another video from Exit Strategy. Welcome again. I was thinking today about how it agitates a covert narcissist when an awakened empath curves them. And this comes from not so much an incident today. I went to my son's football game and this is story time. And I was engaged heavily into the game, which I often am. And it was an individual there that I'd happened upon in the past some time ago, and I'd just making small talk, and it was female, and her son plays and my son plays, and what I'm getting at, they showed some type of fake interest in me. So shot him my number and blah, blah, blah. And being awakened, you will often surmise most people you run into on surface have very strong narcissism in them. Which we, as human beings living in this world that we're living in, and the shape is in, it is pretty much impossible not to have a fair amount of narcissism in you. So being an empath, awakened empath, we know now that some of the trends and some of the behaviors that we've exercised in the past is narcissism. We know the word. And being that we've been abused by a narcissist, we really don't want no part of that type of behavior. So when we are aware, or myself aware of narcissism overload, I check myself. And that's just a part of just having good character, having good morals and standards and character about yourself. Even before narcissism or being aware of narcissistic personality disorder, we knew that we held to a certain standard, and that standard was really hard to break. And when we did break it, it was because we had unhealed wounds. We wanted to be a people pleaser. We wanted to measure up. And now we know in the Matrix way of living that just doesn't pay off. You're exhausted at the end of the day, and these people still don't like you. And now we know those specific people are narcissists. So back to the story. I was way up on top of the bleachers. I hobbled up on the crutches because I had to have a vantage view with the, videoing. I always try to video my son or my daughter's sporting events. And so I had the gimbal. I had the gimbal and my phone. And so I was just doing my normal thing. And between plays, I put my phone on pause, as I often do. Instead of just letting it run through like I did when I first began recording. It just makes for a better video. And so in between the pauses, you tend to glance around just to see who's in attendance and just to get just a view of your surroundings. And when I looked down and I sort of looked around, it was undeniable that this individual female, who I believe is very covert, she hasn't demonstrated any of the strong narcissist behavior, but an awakened empath knows how a covert narcissist moves. We just know. If you've educated yourself, if you become more and more aware, and you're in tune, and you're continually digesting these videos, and you're getting the education, a lot of times we can determine them almost without a shadow of a doubt, without them actually even speaking to us. It's the body language, it is the gestures they make, it is the behaviors they make, the silent behaviors. And that's a little bit in depth to get into, but if you are awakened as I am and your intuition is very good, akin to what just doesn't seem right, you know what I'm talking about. But this was obvious. I'm going to explain to you what I'm talking about. I looked around and I saw them looking up in my direction. I want to believe they were looking directly at me, because not to mention I'm sitting and I got my leg sort of like propped up because it, has to be elevated. And, I got crutches, but I'm way up to the top. And so they're actually fixated in my direction. And what I did was I nonchalantly kept glancing back and forth around the general area. I didn't give off to them that I caught them staring and fixated in my direction. Now, this is what happens when you're awakened as an empath, a chosen one. You see things that the covert narcissist is perplexed about, because what they do is they always oversell the product, which is them. They oversell themselves. Now, as times before, we would have took this hook, line, and sinker. When the showing interest in us, the blah, 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 the coming on like strong, and then all of a sudden there's nothing. You could call them and then they'll act like they're super busy. You know the shit show. So none of this was the case. It was shortly after we exchanged numbers. I had seen them in different places, and I was like, hey, you didn't hit me up. What's up? And you can just see that they have no interest. It's like that incident that you happen to have had with them previous. It is sort of like they are just as uninterested in that interaction as all get out. It's like their mind is blank. They're not on that wave anymore. That was just something they did for that instant. And so back to what I'm talking about, I could see them looking over in my direction. But this is what I'm trying to capture with you guys. When you're an awakened empath, you have a leverage on covert narcissists, whether they're a man or woman. You have a leverage on them that you don't even understand yet, or you should understand. Some of you do. They hunger for your attention, but they are perplexed when they can see the somberness in you, because they don't get this response. They don't see you looking around at them like they're looking at you. This individual had a look on their face, and I'm going to give you an example in a comparison to what this look is comparison to. You guys out there, you remember when we were kids and we were little boys or even teenagers at the basketball court, and when they was picking the 5 or the 6 man, whatever they were picking, and they picked the guy who was going to pick that had necks up, and he got to pick his 5 man or 6 man. He picked a couple people, and he was like, I want him, or him, or him, or him, or him. And when he's picked all the 5 or the 6, and you happen to not be one of them, that is the look and the feeling that the narcissist has when they don't get you to bite that hook. And that hook I'm talking about, the hook of you being thirsty and hungry for them the next time they see you. Because what they do, they string you along. They act like they're gung-ho for you. They'll ask for your number in public. And they're doing this, when you think about it, when I think about it, they do this in a crowd of people. Because what you may or may not understand is the narcissist needs you to prop them up. So they want to act relevant. And so by them saying, in this case, a female, yeah, give me a number. I'll give you my number. They want to be important. They want to be relevant. They want to be significant in that moment. And what they're doing, they're using you to accomplish that. They have no interest in you whatsoever. And they may have an interest in you, but what they do is the interest they have in you, that short-term interest for that moment, is they're going to put you in their mental banks, their short bird brain memory. And they have so many supplies that they're out sinking their hook into. It's like they've gone fishing for the day. They're casting their net and they got a net full of fish. And so they pick and choose who's available, who's relevant to what their purpose is, who is maybe at that grocery store when they happen to run into that grocery store for some milk. They run into you and they, for the life of them, don't probably remember the first interaction with you. Depending on how much the overload of supplies that they have already going. And that's why you'll find that they are sort of like disconnected from an interaction with you the next time you see them. They won't remember certain things. They won't remember certain conversations. They'll even fight tooth and nail to try to brainwash you or give you word salad or gaslight you. I never said that. That is one of their favorite phrases. I never said that. But she was looking up at me like she, that punch in the gut, like she didn't get picked. I thought it was comical, but nonchalant comical on the down low, because I had my priorities were on my son. And they won the football game, by the way. And as the game finalized and everybody were going to their car, this individual was still standing near the bleachers. And I hobbled over from where I was and hobbled down to the platform en route to my car. And I hobbled past them. Their back was to me. I didn't say not one peeping word to them, because there were a few instances where they got some reciprocation from me, because, we're at games, they were parents, just small talk. Hey, how are you doing? And this last few times I was either just so engulfed in what I was doing. I just basically just took that energy back, because there's no interest for you by these people. So what you do is you continue to keep your energy to yourself. And what this does is when they see you again and don't dare have someone, which I believe there were other individuals in the most recent games that I've gone to, different people have came up to me. And they were a mix of men and women. I think a lot of them were just curious about, what happened to my foot, and just decent people. And so I would just kept it short and just said, a machine fell on it and went my way. Now this bothers the narcissist, because what they see that you're getting attention. In their mind, that's undeserved attention. I should be getting that attention. They are so jealous. They're so envious. They're like a child. And so if they can't be in the center, they don't want no part of you. They scorn you. And so I thought it was funny to look on this individual's face. So now they're perplexed. In their mind, they're like, he used to like me. What happened? If I could read their mind, that is exactly what the narcissist is thinking, because they think the momentum that they give you, or the energy they give you when they first meet you, they think in your mind, you're going to harbor the energy they gave you. You're going to keep that same mindset of the energy they gave you. It's almost like they give you a little bit of oxygen, and they think that little bit of oxygen they gave you, which is their time, their attention, they think when they curve you, you're going to be on the bench waiting for them, the coach, to put you in the game. But what they don't realize is, if you sit on the bench 2 or 3 games and the coach doesn't even look over in your direction, you'll do one or two things. You either quit the team or you'll confront the coach. Now, in this case, the awakened empath, we don't need to confront the coach, because we already know the coach ain't going to put us in the game. The coach has his favorites. The coach is on that bull And so now it's no fun when the rabbit got the gun. When you're an awakened empath, you have mastered the art of the curve game. So return to sender. And I thought that was something I should strike a chord with you guys about, because you've had some instances just like this, I'm sure. If you have, comment down below. Subscribe to the channel, by the way. Oh, like my t-shirt, guys? You guys should get one of these, man. These are nice. My boy Denzo. I finally got one. We've been great friends for 4 years, and I just thought it was just fitting to get one, because I've been looking at the merch forever. Just a little bit of support for my fellow man. So, anyone who had that experience, let me know, because, you know, it is just beyond comical. It is just disturbing, to be honest with you, because you've knocked the wind out of them. They're thinking to themselves, what happened? He don't like me no more. What they don't understand is you've realized that they saved you from the bullet. Because when they exposed themselves earlier rather than later, because when we were asleep, we invested a lot of time. Well, maybe a month, a week, 2 weeks, whatever. It was enough time for them to solidify that love bomb. That love bomb doesn't work on an awakened empath, because it's so phony, it's so fake, and it's so elementary, and it's so childish. We can see it coming from a mile away, or at least we should. The more elevated you raise your vibration, the more you stay attuned to videos like this and other videos of people just telling you little stories like this one, it will resonate with you, and it will make your keen sense of intuition just that more astute, because what happens is you're exercising that intuition muscle. And so you're conditioned. You're conditioned to hearing it. You're conditioned to realizing it. You're conditioned to sensing it. And so that's all I want to say about that, guys. The awakened empath. Perplexes. Covert narcissist. That being said, BLEZZ.